Is your news fair, or is it a weapon? Many see a relentless biased assault on Republican values. Mainstream media a liberal echo chamber, that's the charge. Republicans feel misrepresented, as if they're the enemy for their beliefs, with scandals magnified. Is this just politics, or a crisis of trust? If media picks winners and losers, democracy trembles. Media holds significant power. This power is used to shape narratives, beliefs, and ideologies. What is media bias? It's the suspicion that stories are chosen to make Republicans look bad. Journalists' backgrounds, worldviews, and the questions they ask or don't fuel this belief. Is it unconscious or by design? The feeling has simmered for decades, now boiling over. We'll scrutinize every claim and defense, seeking clarity. This isn't about taking sides, but understanding the forces shaping your news. Everyone and everything has a narrative they're pushing. Republicans describe a constant, partisan spotlight. Flaws amplified, successes ignored. Headlines frame debates before arguments are heard, shaping negative perceptions. This isn't just hurt feelings, it fractures common ground and deepens distrust. From economic policy to social issues, criticism is amplified, positives downplayed. Is this accidental or a newsroom culture that leans one way? The field feels uneven. George W. Bush's presidency is a conservative case study in media bias. The war on terror and Iraq war coverage shifted from initial support to relentless criticism. Republicans argue achievements were buried, failures magnified. Hurricane Katrina coverage was brutal. Some say deserved, others saw a slant. Economic policies like tax cuts were often framed as benefiting only the wealthy. Conservatives saw a consistent narrative, a presidency fumbling, an agenda at play. Was it reporting or something more? Enter Donald Trump. Media relations exploded. Every tweet, every move met with critical wall-to-wall coverage. Fake news became a rallying cry. Media doubled down on fact checks and investigations. Was this accountability or a campaign to delegitimize a president? The antagonism drove millions to alternative news, fracturing the landscape. The divide deepened. Step back to the dawn of TV news. Scheduled somber and authoritative news was curated by a few powerful entities, creating a shared national conversation. Anchormen were trusted voices, not entertainers. This era set the foundation for future media norms. But as society shifted, the model's limitations grew clear, seeds of discontent were sown. NBC, CBS, and ABC ruled the airwaves. News was uniform, ritualistic, and trusted anchors like Cronkite were seen as impartial guardians of fact. The news aimed to unite, reflecting a carefully calibrated mainstream. But whose mainstream? Content avoided controversy, appealing to the broadest audience. This wasn't conspiracy, but a product of the era's culture. Change was coming. Early TV news reflected a homogeneous white Christian America. Stories were framed through this lens, reinforcing established norms. Minority viewpoints rarely made the nightly news. The tone was respectful, fostering national cohesion. But many stories went untold, many voices unheard. As society diversified, cracks appeared in the monolithic media. Cable TV shattered the old order, dozens of channels, endless choice. News became specialized 24/7 and more diverse. CNN pioneered the constant news cycle, fragmenting audiences. The singular voice of the anchorman faded. More airtime meant more perspectives, and the seeds of partisan media were sown. The narrative was no longer controlled by a few. The ground was shifting. The internet pulverized media's foundation. Anyone could publish, comment, broadcast information, became a sprawling, interactive network. The news cycle accelerated barriers to entry, vanished alternative perspectives, bypassed traditional gatekeepers. Established media's authority was challenged, competition for attention intensified, news became faster, louder, more opinionated. The media landscape was forever changed. Amidst this swirling vortex of media change, a significant portion of the American populace felt adrift. Many conservatives looked at the expanding media options, from the established networks to the newer cable outlets, and saw not a reflection of their values, but a distortion. They perceived a pervasive liberal slant, an inherent bias that consistently portrayed their views in a negative light. This created a hunger, a palpable demand for a media voice that spoke to them and for them. A counter-narrative was desperately sought by millions. In 1996, that demand found its answer. Fox News Channel launched with an explicit mission to provide a fair and balanced alternative to what its founders and target audience saw as a liberal-dominated mainstream media landscape. It was created to offer a platform for conservative perspectives, to champion ideas and individuals they felt were ignored or unfairly maligned by other news organizations. Its arrival was not just another channel, it was a direct challenge to the existing media order. Fox News quickly gained remarkable traction, tapping directly into this deep well of conservative sentiment. Its style was often more direct, more opinionated than the more measured tones of older news outlets. It presented itself as a voice for the silent majority, those who felt left behind by cultural and media shifts. It wasn't merely reporting news from a different angle, it was cultivating a distinct community, a shared identity. For its viewers, it became more than a news source. It became a validation of their worldview, a daily affirmation. Its creation was a pivotal moment in media history, a direct response to the diversification of media and the perceived ideological drift of established players. Fox News positioned itself as the voice for those conservatives who felt the mainstream no longer represented their interests or values. It sought to reclaim the ground for a viewpoint that, as the brief highlighted, was once the leading majority in a less diverse, more homogeneous America. The media landscape was now truly and visibly fractured. Mainstream media today, it's a complex beast, accused of liberal leanings, yes, but what truly drives this perception? Is it purely ideology, a shadowy, concerted agenda, or is there perhaps something far more fundamental at play? Something rooted in the very business of news itself. The battle for your attention, your click, your view is relentless. News outlets are, at their core, businesses. They must survive, indeed they must thrive, in an intensely crowded marketplace. This stark economic reality undeniably shapes what you end up seeing. Consider for a moment the target audience. Many mainstream media outlets, especially those with a national or global footprint, naturally cater to urban centers, to coastal cities, to populations that, statistically speaking, lean more liberal. Does this mean they deliberately, maliciously skew every single story? Perhaps not always with conscious conspiratorial intent. But content inevitably gravitates towards the perceived interests, the prevailing values, the pressing concerns of their largest demographic share. This is called audience engagement. This is what some would call smart business. But where does this calculus leave other viewpoints, other voices? The inescapable result can often feel like an echo chamber, a carefully constructed space where certain ideas are consistently amplified and other dissenting ideas are subtly muted or framed as inherently problematic. It's often a subtle, insidious process, not a blatant decree. The meticulous choice of on-air guests, the specific questions asked or crucially left unasked, the particular emphasis placed within a news story, all these granular elements can subtly yet powerfully steer the narrative, crafting a version of reality that resonates deeply with a specific worldview. And if your personal worldview falls outside that carefully drawn circle, you might feel utterly alienated, profoundly misunderstood, or worse, deliberately misrepresented. This dynamic isn't just about abstract political debates or theoretical arguments. It carries tangible, real-world consequences for real people. Imagine a single chaotic event, a sudden confrontation, a heated protest. How that event is initially framed by powerful media voices can set the definitive tone for days, even for weeks to come. It can instantly define who the heroes are and who the villains must be, often before all the pertinent facts are even known or verified. Innocent individuals can be caught in this ferocious whirlwind, their lives, their reputations, turned upside down by a compelling narrative. A narrative that conveniently serves a particular audience's expectations or a particular outlet's preferred angle. This is where the danger truly lies. Now let us turn the critical lens around. What about the burgeoning world of conservative media? Outlets like Fox News and a vast, ever-expanding ecosystem of digital platforms. They arose as a direct and forceful response, a clear challenge to what they perceived as entrenched liberal dominance in news, their stated mission to offer that missing perspective, that unheard voice, to give platform to millions of American citizens who felt not just ignored but actively demonized by the mainstream press. They too operate within this fiercely competitive modern media landscape. They too understand their core audience with profound intimacy. Do these conservative outlets shape narratives? Unquestionably, just as their mainstream counterparts demonstrably do. Conservative media meticulously crafts its content to resonate deeply with its core viewers, validating their cherished beliefs, their mounting frustrations, their righteous anger. It provides a potent and compelling counter-narrative, often focusing on entirely different sets of stories or framing the very same events in a starkly, dramatically contrasting light. This is precisely their appeal. This is their undeniable strength, and this is fundamental to their business model. They serve a fiercely loyal, highly engaged audience, an audience hungry, even desperate for their specific brand of truth. Take, for instance, a volatile flashpoint event, one that ignites raw passions right across the political spectrum. The Covington Catholic High School incident in early 2019 serves as a stark example. A group of high school students, a Native American elder, a contentious protest. The initial viral video footage painted an immediate damning picture of the students. They were portrayed as arrogant, disrespectful, the very embodiment of unearned privilege. The ensuing outrage was instantaneous, widespread, and incredibly fierce. A powerful narrative was instantly solidified across the mainstream media landscape. This initial condemnatory narrative, however, soon faced significant challenges. Conservative media outlets pushed back hard against the prevailing story. They highlighted longer, more contextual video footage from the event. They began to tell a profoundly different story, one of alleged provocation from other groups, one of the students being unfairly targeted in a rush to judgment. Suddenly, the clear-cut villains and victims became far murkier, far more complex. This single case rapidly escalated into a brutal public battlefield in the ongoing bitter war over media narratives, and who, ultimately, gets to control them. The Covington story exploded, becoming a national obsession and cultural moment. It revealed our fractured media landscape and rushed to judgment in the digital age. Fueled by selectively edited clips, the initial narrative spread rapidly. Students, like Nicholas Sandman, faced a global firestorm, vilified and threatened. Longer videos complicated the picture, suggesting a more nuanced reality. Lawsuits followed against major media, some settled confidentially. The case highlights the power of media to build up and tear down. It's a stark lesson about unchecked narratives and the human cost of culture wars. The dust of the Covington confrontation has settled, yet its echoes still reverberate. Lawsuits were filed, reputations scarred, and settlements reached. The devastating human cost remains clear when narratives are forged in instant outrage. The case stands as a warning to the dangers of trial by media, a verdict delivered before crucial facts are heard, brutally stripped of its vital context. What did Covington teach us about media accountability or its glaring absence? This affair exposed the fragile nature of truth when caught in the digital crossfire. The legal settlements offered financial solace, but did they mend the wounds of distrust? Covington demonstrated the immense power wielded by modern media, constructing realities through ideological prisms. This firestorm serves as a troubling illustration of the larger question we confront. So is the mainstream media biased against Republicans? The answer is complex, but the evidence leans towards yes. This bias stems from cultural leanings within newsrooms, the demographics they serve, and the stories they prioritize. It's often a bias of omission and framing. Conservative media has its own filters, catering to a specific audience. Both sides battle for hearts, minds, ratings, and revenue. So where does this leave you? No single source offers a complete picture. The responsibility shifts to you to become a critical consumer of news. Piece together information, seek diverse perspectives, and question every narrative. Verify and then verify again. Click on these videos to continue your journey. Like this video and subscribe for more. Stay informed, critical, and engaged. It matters more than ever.